Hello and welcome to your reading, air signs. This is going to be a collective pick a card reading for all of the air elemental zodiac signs. Now, the kind of catch 22 here is that I won't be having any intention or any label for which one is which sign. I want to leave that up to you guys to interpret, to A, give you guys more freedom of your intuition, and B, to not make you feel as pressured to listen to one reading. You are totally welcome to talk in the comments and be like, I feel like group 3 was more this sign, or group 2 was more this sign. I'm totally up for the interpretation of it, but just know that these are collective messages, so please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. We have the manga tarot here, the star tarot, and then the hermetic tarot. So 3 vastly different decks here. Personally, the manga tarot is my favorite because I love manga art. Manga art is so beautiful and detailed at times, and it's so expressive in certain ways. But these two definitely have their own personality that very much stands out in their own way, and I feel like this is kind of perfect for air signs because you guys stand out in your own way, very uniquely. So let's get into the cards from the Animal Spirit Oracle. So what does group 1 need to see to know that this reading is for them? Ooh, got the fox reversed. Okay. Alright. What about group 2? What does group 2 need to see, need to hear, so they know this reading is for them? Group 2. Oh, hello. You got the buffalo. Ooh. Okay. Oh. I guess group 3 already spoke. I didn't even need to do all that. Group 3, you got the firefly and the owl. Very intriguing, very interesting here. So, these are your cards and your groups. So, let me leave you to deciding which reading and which group that you'd like to choose. You are welcome to read all 3. Don't feel bad for reading all 3. Just remember to always take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Alright, group 1, you chose the fox. And don't mind it being in reverse because I will still show it to you upright. I feel like there is sort of an elusiveness to your nature that many people probably don't fully understand. And this is like an area of yourself that you work best in. I feel like you're one to not really tell people about a lot of the things you're working on. You tell them after the fact, after they're already completed. I feel like that's a bit of what we're going to get into. I want to read from the book because I have a lot of oracle cards, so it's kind of hard to remember each and every one here. And also the way that the book is worded with certain stuff, I find it very poetic with how they word stuff here. So, the fox. Smart, strong partner or mate, wise teacher. Also, if you hear a lot of background noise, I have my balcony door open. It is very, very nice outside. I just want to get a lot of the fresh air in, so we live right next to a highway, so you're probably going to hear a lot of it. No worries, though. It's not too much of a distraction for me, so I hope it's not too much of a distraction for you guys. The fox is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. Fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to learn and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long term. Their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox energy helps us stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. I feel like this slipping away part is exactly what you're like starting to feel, and like it's like this kind of things just kind of click in your head, and there's sort of this like connection here where right when you feel like you're sort of slipping away from those that you love, maybe just not spending as much time, is right when you kick it into action to spend time with them. And I feel like we're going to get into how connected you feel with those that you truly care about and truly love, and how sometimes we could care about people and want to hang out with them, but we don't want to ever be like codependent. And I think that's the big thing of like when you find yourself pulling away, it's, I feel like, out of wanting to give people space, but you work well in this interconnectedness with people. And it's almost like if you need to find something that not just like works for you to be connected with other individuals, but to like stay connected with people you care about, it's almost like creating like a monthly thing. Like I feel like something, there needs to be like some sort of creative community thing that you could do where all of your friends, family, whoever it is you care so deeply about, having this interconnectedness of like an activity that's like happens on like a regular basis. And I feel like you want to do all this planning for all these people, but there's always this air of like worry. I'm feeling there's a energy of worrying about how not only like is this going to be perceived by others, but how can you not be like super codependent about it in a way, because codependence is something we always kind of just learn as human beings, one way or another. Either we find people being codependent on us, or we see that we're codependent on other people. And this can be kind of like a confusing thing to work through and work past, but it's also something that is very necessary to not just like hold strong boundaries, but to create and build and grow and maintain even like healthy relationships with people. So I feel like this is also learning like what true healthy relationships actually look like and how they're like perceived by other people. And I think this is the part that becomes very clear to you right now, because you understand how trustworthy people see you as, how loyal people see you as. Like they really love not just like the loyalty, but like the things that you bring to the table. Maybe you just have a lot of wise things to say, a lot of good advice, and people genuinely really appreciate that. But you shouldn't have to fit yourself in this box per se just to be more digestible. Like you are a big personality, it seems like here, especially with the fox card. Just fox energies have lots of personality. Like they are like oozing personality out of out of themselves, and it's really cool to see. But it's also like there's a lot of things that people could say, do, that make us feel like we have to hide this very deep personality that we have, as just people. And that, I feel like, is the one thing you're kind of working through, because maybe you've been struggling to find what's on here. Oh my gosh, sorry. I was seeing this and I was like, what the hell? Alright, well, figure that out later. Sorry, I got a little distracted because I was like, wait, I don't think that's been there before. And I don't know why that feels like it resonates. Like, hey, this sort of thought in our mind hasn't been here before in a long time. Where is it coming from? I don't know if you've had people in your life, like, give you strange looks, say, oh, you're being a little too much, or whatever it may be. But there's people that love that side of you. Like, there's genuine people that see that as you opening yourself up fully to them. And because you're able to do so, you are also able to not only show people, hey, like, I am my full self around you because I trust you, and you give them that trust, but you also give them a bit of freedom to just live, you know? Starting off with the Eight of Wands. I think you've been getting true in-depth signs about yourself. Ooh, some air energy right there. With Justice, that is Libra, the zodiac of Libra, usually. And the Queen of Wands. Okay, Eight of Wands, Justice, the Queen of Wands. You are greatly concerned that your passionate personality is going to be a little too fiery for people. But it's not about, and I feel like you could be getting signs of like what feels like you need to tone it down, but you don't need to tone it down to anything. You need to refine this personality, this craft, into a more, I want to say, not just like well-rounded, but it's just like refining these things into very specific parts of your life so you get to experience the fullness of your personality and potential here, without sort of feeling like you're being too much. And I feel like this is the careful balance that needs to be played here, because you have a lot to offer, a lot of good, passionate, just ideas and just love to give, I feel. But right when you kind of see an imbalance, you're like, oh, I have to tone it down. But no, the Queen of Wands reversed is almost this like symbolism of being very refined, with your energy. The wee woos are going. I hope peeps are okay. We do, like I said, we do live right next to a highway, so it's really no worries to me. And I think it's like a very busy highway, so it's very common to hear the wee woos from like where we live. We live in between a lot of like kind of stuff, so people are moving and grooving. Sorry if that was distracting, but there's this energy of like refining your talent, refining your skills, like I always bring up the fact that I dance because it's just an easy example for me to go to, but like me wanting to refine my skills in dance. I still love dance, I'm still very passionate about it, but to be serious, and maybe this is getting into being like a serious relationship or serious friendship that you're trying to maintain or get into, it's not about hiding things away. It's just about being ourselves in these very... Someone needs some new brake pads, Jesus Christ. Being very, like... I keep getting the word refined. I feel like I hope that makes sense, because refined doesn't mean put away. It just means more focused, more intentional, more methodical even, more um I want to say disciplined, but that's not the right word when it comes to personality here. Like, I feel like you are very understanding of, like, you have a lot to just offer the world. So if you want to, like, teach people things, find that room to kind of teach people things. Or, like, let's say you are really, really adamant about how you learn like a new thing or a new subject or just a new fact, and you know the exact friend to talk to about it. You don't have to tell every single one of your friends, but to tell that friend that you know, oh, I know that they like this, I know that they'll care about this. Those are the people that really appreciate your energy, because it's like, oh yeah, thank you for like telling me this, thank you for letting me know. This is really cool kind of energy is what I'm feeling. So it's like a weird duality playing out here, especially with the Justice card. It feels like an odd balance, but you know that you still get to be yourself and you're not hiding away from anything or anyone. And it's really interesting to kind of see here, because it's very, very complex reading. And it feels a lot more complicated than it is, but at the same time, like, you don't want to feel codependent on all the different people that you care about and that you love in your life. And this is where it becomes like, hey, it's not like you can't be yourself around all your friends, but we also know that sometimes we build friendships in one area of our life, sometimes we build friendships in another area of your life. And let's say, like, we have group A and group B, and you love hanging out with both groups, but you're like, oh, I have something that group A would really like. You can still express that to group B of like, oh, you know, I know some people who'd really like this, and I have to tell them about it. Sometimes people in group B will be like, oh, like, that's kind of cool that you like really care about your friends like that. Like, it's still, you're still able to express these things. And I think that's the big thing of, like, just because the people you want to express them to aren't in the environment of like what you're in, I feel like this is very much being able to express it freely and not have to worry about too much of like what other people are saying, because people are going to talk, but you're still sitting here creating a lot of goodness over here, a lot of good energy, whether it is you're actually like creating like creative projects, or you're actively just creating good energy within the friend groups. I feel like there's a lot you have to offer, and it doesn't need to be like shied away. It can still be expressed in a multitude of ways even. So, last card for the top row here. I really hope what I'm saying is making sense, because I feel like I'm kind of like repeating myself, because partially I almost feel like it doesn't really make sense. But if it's resonating, it's resonating, and that's all I hope for, and I'm grateful for you guys watching and listening to the reading here. Six of Cups reversed, Seven of Pentacles reversed, and the Emperor reversed. I think that this is really taking the reins and trying your best to find the balance here without being, I want to say, just codependent. I feel like when you are very giving with your energy, it kind of feels like when you're a little kid again, of where maybe just a younger part of you, it doesn't have to be a kid, it could be a teenager, young adult, just younger you, just very excited to offer your energy, offer these things, these creative solutions, even of like, maybe as a kid you were like creating a lot of just games on your own, or making up games, or just having fun with like the make-believe imaginative side of being a kid. And you've seen truly what it's grown into. And I feel like these cards are in reverse because these two specifically are just like, this is the mind space that's happening right now. And with the Eight of Wands reversed, I feel like that's like you knowing you have a lot to give, but you're kind of holding it and waiting for the right time. And I almost feel like you have to wait till you feel fully not just confident, but fully yourself. Like the Queen of Wands works best when they are fully themselves, when they're fully embodying every part about them, every bit of their own nature. Um, it's something that I feel like is truly profound when we really work in that area and create just things from our imagination. Like we have a creative idea for a meal or whatever, or a dessert or something, and right when you're feeling ready, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go do it. Right when you're feeling like, all right, I feel myself, I'm feeling that, like, that pull again, that itch, you know. um and you just dive headfirst right into it. But it's like not just diving in like cannonball style with like decent form, like you have perfect form diving into this. That's the difference about being refined. It's like anyone can just dive right in, but you're diving in like an Olympic diver, like a professional uh, diver that is going off of the like 100 foot, however high those high dive things are. um it's kind of like crazy to people in a very like awe-inspiring way. You're like, oh, people kind of look back at what, like, watching you work, and are like, holy crap, like you came up with this all on your own. And you're just like, yeah. And people are just like amazed. And I feel like you're trying to really contemplate and just understand the collective of your own nature here with the Seven of Pentacles. Like you've grown so much this far, and this is the amazing energy you have to show for it. And now it's like, what do I do now? The Emperor is kind of like, so what's the long term look like for me? What structure does this build for me? And I feel like when it comes to the personality that you have developed, you can build so much in the long run, and it all be based in love, compassion, and care. And it may not seem that fancy of an idea to you, but there's a lot of people that really not just matter to you, but you matter to them. And no matter where life takes you, you are going to be able to take care of people. And I feel like this is a big kind of uh, wanting to understand, okay, well, where could someone care for me? And I feel like that's the new foundation that you're building, is room for people to kind of care about you. Like you could set up a whole house party, but you tell people to bring food, and you can tell them, hey, like you could bring this, you could bring that, and people end up surprising you with what they're bringing. They actually bring in a lot of care, love, and compassion as well. And I feel like when you build that foundation and build that sort of connection with people, all that you are giving is love, compassion. All that you will receive is love and compassion. So you have to be the one to kind of set that stage for people to be able to, you know, kind of walk on upon the stage, walk into your home, basically, your metaphorical home, mind you. And this is a big metaphor for like, you really see a lot of potential in people. And I think that's the big thing that's kind of like sort of made you trip over your own shoelaces, I want to say. Because when you refined that energy into yourself, you created a lot of amazing things. And I feel like you are beating yourself up too much for giving away too much of your energy. But then you sit here and I'm like, well, I'm a giver. Like, this is me. This is who I am. I'm loving, compassionate, and loyal. And it's like, where do you take that? And it's this energy of, you can genuinely take that anywhere. Like I was saying, when you set that stage, when you build that foundation, you make room and leave an open door for loving and compassionate people to enter your space, to enter your energy. And I think that's the big message here, is like, what do you do now? You open the door for loving and compassionate people. And this is where it has to be like that more refined energy of like, okay, hey, I want group A and group B people to all hang out with me. How about group B brings this and group A brings that to the party or something like that. And it doesn't have to be entirely planned. I feel like the Emperor here is also indicating that like if you try to like plan things like to the exact time, moment, schedule, whatever it may be, and you kind of struggle for things to work out when it's like very, very articulately planned, you need to leave more room up to chance and to leave it kind of up to the universe a bit more. I feel like you've been trying to refine how things are done, but refining the energy is what we're talking about here. Refining this energy in order to kind of leave a door open for the universe to kind of walk in with this loving, compassionate energy. And I genuinely feel like, because I'm the type of person of like, you can't tell me the exact plan of things, and I can't, or it's really me specifically, I can't exactly plan things like to the T. I have to leave it up in the air, and that's when things actually kind of work out for me. It's genuinely the weirdest thing, but I've experienced it all my life, so I work best when there's like barely a plan. Like if there's half of a plan, that's perfect. But even if there's no plan, there's things that still have like worked out for me very fluidly and smoothly, and it's very interesting. So if you kind of work well in that sort of realm, don't be afraid to not have everything all figured out here. And this is something that I feel like you're very much growing into. You're very much growing into this more refined version of yourself, that it doesn't like hide away or take away from any other things that you are. It's just kind of it's the definition of like refining your skills. You're almost upgrading them and making them more organized, I guess that's probably a better word. Like you're organizing your energy a bit more. And to not necessarily have like a full plan, because life's gonna be life in here. Chaos is going to ensue because there is calm and chaos in everything that we do, in everything that we experience. So we have the Sun card coming out reversed. Five of Wands came out sideways. Three of Cups reversed. Get the last two cards here for group 1. Nine of Pentacles. Love to see it. Love to see it. And the Chariot. Oh, the way that this is connecting here. So, when there is more refined, organized energy here, you're able to pursue this passionate lifestyle, compassionate lifestyle, and it's all from a place that feels very not just enlightened but like familiar. And I feel like this is you experiencing playful energy like you felt when you were a kid, but you're now doing it as an adult. And it's very interesting to see here, because I feel like a lot of that energy is very difficult to like muster up sometimes for some people, but for you it's very easy. And that's where it kind of like there's little things that even if you're doing adult things, you feel like a little kid again. And it's not even just feeling like a little kid again. You could be like way into your 30s thinking about your like teenage like 20s years, and just thinking back on like, damn, we like feel young again and feel young at heart. And I think that there's kind of like a trick question here of like, you've always been young at heart throughout all of the chaos. You've had fun with yourself. And I feel like this card and the Sun is in reverse because you've kind of forgotten the loyalty that you've given yourself. Nine of Pentacles. This is all you kind of energy. This is like the card of independence here, or individuality. You've been able to grow so much more than I feel like you give yourself credit for. You're like, oh, I've just grown in these ways, but like you have been able to stay young at heart during very difficult times. And not just difficult as in like what's going on in the world, like difficult as in you went through some shit and you still have this compassion to you, this loyalty to you, because I think you are the type of person that really understands how helpful community is, how grateful you are to have community in your life, to have friends, to have family, to just have people you care about and that care about you. You know that if you have nothing of material things, you have people. And I feel like not only does that energy bring a lot of people together, but it's something not a lot of people have. And I feel like you need to own that. And obviously not in a boastful way. You've been very you've been very understanding about how there's a balance that happens here when we move ourselves forward in life. We have to make sure that we're taken care of on the inside as well as the outside in order to keep pushing forward, to keep believing in the life that we're living. And I think this is the most compassionate reading I've ever fucking done, and I'm so grateful that you get to be here for this. So thank you for listening. This is not over yet because I have a little last few words. We have the Queen of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck here, which is really, really interesting because I feel like you embody and like imbued anything with this turning nothing into something energy. Like you embody that greatly because you know how creative people can be, and you're kind of just like, well, I want to try something here. And that's where it makes you kind of feel a little bit like a kid again, but it's also not in a way that's like you're trying to build Legos all the time. Like maybe you're just getting a little creative about like, or maybe just having a little fun cooking the same thing that you've always cooked, that's like one of your main dinner dishes, and you're just having a little extra fun because you have the music on and you're dancing in the kitchen and just like living your life. You take those opportunities, like this Queen of Coins here, Queen of Pentacles. She takes this pentacle, she plants that seed, she nourishes it and lets it grow, however long that's going to take. But where love is seeded, love will grow. Where love is planted in the soils of our soul, love will grow. And that's why this love will never leave you. This love that you have to give to people and to yourself, to community, to loving your life, that will never leave you. And no matter how chaotic it gets. And I just want to say, not only like, don't be afraid to be grateful for these things and feel like your body just being overwhelmed with that gratitude, because I feel like a lot of your spirit team here is like trying to send you gratitude, like thank you for like continuing this compassionate love and just effort, and just it's like an acknowledgement of the path that they want for you, whatever source, spirit team, whoever it is you're kind of like communing with. There's a lot of gratitude that comes from spirit teams when they're like, hey, this person's very much enjoying their life and they're doing exactly what they need to be doing in this lifetime. They give a lot of gratitude because it's tough work. Like, it's not always easy, and that's kind of the point, because if it was easy, obviously everyone would be doing it. And I think that's the big reminder you need to have to give yourself, is if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But it's not. But when we all are doing the hard work together, it makes it a little bit more worth it, doesn't it? Especially when it comes to me, myself, and I over here type energy. So keep moving forward with that love and compassion. Just make it more refined. And don't be afraid to like have a day to yourself and love yourself and love living life on your own. Even if you do have a significant other, we always need our individual time to really keep our individuality. We're all different people. No matter who we choose to love and keep in our lives, we're all very different people. And that's kind of what's cool about it, and what's cool about life. And I feel like you're really genuinely understanding the fruits of your own labor here. So keep planting those seeds of compassion, of love, of creative ideas, creative outlets. Keep planting those seeds, because where love is seeded, love will grow. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. So thank you for letting me read your cards. That's all I have for you, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye! All right, Group 2, you chose the buffalo. And actually, really quick, I just realized my incense is fully burned out. Let me light some more really quick. Now, with the buffalo here, the buffalo has a lot of symbolism in a lot of different cultures, so I feel like we're going to get into a pretty intense reading here. I have the fan on, so gotta be careful. There we go. It is really nice outside, so I'm sorry if there's any sort of noise in the background. It's not too much of a distraction for me because I'm used to it. We live right next to a highway, so if it is a little bit of a distraction for you guys, I do apologize. Let's get into what the buffalo has to say. So I'm going to read from the book because I love how poetic this author is, and it just kind of helps me more sort of like figure out the feeling a bit more, because there's certain keywords that I'm like, oh, that's very like accurate to this feeling. So we have the buffalo reversed. Let me actually show you it upright because it is a very, very pretty card here. I think it is very pretty. Come on. I love the watercolor stuff in this card. It's very, very cool. The like ink watercolor mixture. So let's get into it. Actually, I feel like you guys need to kind of just look at it upright for a little bit here. Buffalo, grounded yet heavenly, practical yet spiritual. The hooves of the mighty buffalo are grounded in the earth, yet its heart and mind rise towards heaven. The buffalo sees challenge, hardship, or a bump in the road as an opportunity for upliftment. Therefore, the buffalo does not fear death, illness, or misfortune. Its gentle eyes look to the road ahead, trusting every turn. Sorry, I thought there was more to that. May we all experience this elusive yet life-changing bliss from time to time, and may we allow this card to remind us that life is a precious gift. This is something you are genuinely coming to terms with, and I feel like a lot of air signs are really coming to terms with how beautiful life can be. This is something that I feel like is hard for a lot of just mundane people to really understand. This is something super beautiful to not just only experience, but to know how to appreciate the life around you. And I feel like you're finding these very, very small moments of just like quietness, or like it usually happens a lot during summertime because people just love summer. But when it's like a perfect summer day, not too hot, and the wind's blowing just so perfectly, and you're just experiencing this day and loving every little bit about it. Life is truly a precious gift that we get to live in. And a big part, I feel like, for some of you who've been on a very heavy spiritual journey, you understand the purpose of living your life. Like, that's the most spiritual thing of them all. And that's where I feel like this is going to be the key to what we're talking about here. These very practical moments feel very spiritual. Like, practical yet spiritual is just, I feel like, the energy that you're embodying here. And when it comes to getting very serious about this, I feel like the seriousness is like, you're not going to let any moment pass you by. You're not going to give up on any other little moment for yourself. You are going to actually appreciate every little moment that you get to appreciate about this precious life. And another thing for people who are like super deep into their spirituality, I feel like a big thing is like trying to discover all the meanings of life and the meanings of the universe and dimensions and dreams and astral projection. All of that is great and interesting and cool, but the best part about living life is living it. And this is something that I feel like you're really getting into, like being able to smell, see, hear, taste, feel. It is so amazing, because if you are like let's say you are a deity, like a spirit guide on the other side, right? And you have all of this power to kind of just do everything you want in this dimension and then in this realm. You may miss out on the fact that you get to feel, touch, taste, and experience life. And I kind of see that as like trying to discover like source and creator energy. It's like if you're this all creating being, an all knowing being, wouldn't you want to actually experience life? Like, wouldn't you want to experience what you've created? And I kind of have a personal opinion of like, that's what souls really are. That's who we really are at the end of the day. We want to experience this life not only just to gain knowledge, but to experience it, to feel things as tangible as they are in this reality and in this world. Ooh, talk about passion, about life. King of Wands is like the matured King of Wands is so passionate about life, and while they seem so stern and serious, they'll look at you and start like, you'll be like, oh my god, they're so stern, or like you're looking at people and they're like, oh my god, this group 2 is so stern looking, and then like their like little bit of like nervousness kind of just makes you laugh and giggle, and then you just have this belly laugh that kind of softens that stern, firm energy, and it leaves room for this very bubbly mentality that is truly hard to find, because we were also discussing in group 1's reading about like refining your energy, and I feel like you have been very refined in your energy, and now it's to this point where you're like able to express spirituality in a very practical way. Oh my god, this fire energy here. And I think this is something that you aren't afraid to step into. You aren't afraid to step into this new energy of really living and enjoying your life here. Like, it doesn't feel like it's new to you internally, but it genuinely feels new to you, like in this lifetime, in this moment. I don't think you've fully been able to enjoy all that you've experienced. Even if those rough times have led to something really, really good, like, you're grateful that you've gotten to experience these things and that you get to create these experiences for yourself. All right. King of Wands, Strength, Six of Cups, reversed. Oh. Six of Cups came out in group 1. I feel like the air elements, air signs are very much going through very similar things collectively. Because there's this energy here that is very different from group 1, but it's still like you feel like a kid again, but you feel strong. And this is where it kind of feels confusing, because you don't want to equate this to just being a kid and not caring about things. That's the difference with this matured King of Wands energy that you're embodying. You are matured. You understand this, like, what needs to be done, but you find fun and joy out of it, and that's where your true strength comes in. And you take this into any sort of area that you go into. So it kind of has this like almost feeling of like, are we like forgetting who we are? Are we like making sure that like this is who we are at the end of the day? And it's like, when we were a kid, we had all these different like perceptions of life, and it almost doesn't even matter kind of like what happened in the past. It's this energy of you're still taking this young at heart personality with you, but you're also doing it in a way of like, okay, we have a lot of work to get done, so let's get to it. And I feel like you are a very good leader here. You are someone that knows how to lead people into strength and confidence. You are embodying this new energy and sort of being guided into the unknown here, because this woman is guiding this lion here into the abyss of space, which is the abyss of potential here, of new beginnings even. But you're also, while you're being guided by, I feel like, just the universe in general, come on, focus, or you are being guided by the universe, you are also the guide here, guiding away from deceit and taking control of, hey, this is not going to work, so We're gonna have to tackle these things, take a hold of them, acknowledge them, and move forward with confidence. Move forward with not just confidence, but like, hey, if we want to build this sandcastle, we gotta get moving. If we want to build something really big, it's gonna take a lot of work, and we gotta start right now. And you're just very honest. And I feel like part of this almost doesn't feel like yourself, because when we fully like mature into ourselves, into our personality, we actually end up being like our own mentor, our own teacher. And you are weirdly experiencing things of like you're being the person that you wish you had in the past. But it's not like you wish you had someone to tell you things. It's almost like you already knew how to mentor yourself from a very young age. So it's almost this weird feeling of like, have we been like this the whole time? Did we just know these things and we're just wise people from the start, no matter your upbringing? And I think the answer's kind of yes. Like, you've been here before. The Star card reversed here. 4 of Cups. I think you're feeling like there's a deeper part of you that needs to heal, but it's like you are almost, I want to say, completely healed, or completely healed right now, because life is chaotic. We're always going to go through ups and downs. You've come around full circle to the things that you've been healing in the past, and like, I think you're working through that whole energy of like, I have no regrets. Like, that was some very harsh, tough shit I went through, but I don't got no regrets, because it wouldn't have led you to the opportunities of feeling so in tune with your life and your path that you're very grateful that, okay, yeah, there's these small little opportunities here, but then there's this big opportunity of success, fulfillment, and almost like completion here. And you're taking the time to really talk with yourself and understand this 4th cup behind you, the 4th cup that we need to take hold of. You're being grateful for the time to even meditate here and understand it fully, because when you move forward in that loving life and being super passionate of this gift of life, you know it's going to change everything. The Ace of Pentacles, specifically with this deck, is a very, very intense card here. And the fact that it shows this tree almost as like a portal, with that, the design, this like spiral design, is actually the labyrinth, or a labyrinth design, which the journey inward will take you all around this circle before you're actually in the center. And it's almost like the journey inward is almost an outward journey as well. But this portal that it's sort of showcasing is intense, and it's here to change your whole life. And maybe not your whole life on like a material aspect, but it kind of just depends on like what you're pursuing in this lifetime right now. But this is changing your whole life on how you perceive it. And it's like, you don't need to tell anyone, like, and force them to believe this, but it's like, if people come to you for guidance and advice and have questions, you're going to guide them in the best direction possible here. You're going to guide them in ways that actually, like, fill them up and not tear them down. And, ooh, this reverse energy is very interesting here. Princess of Cups, the Empress, the Emperor and Empress coming out together? Ooh, hello. In order like that? Okay. Also, the Emperor came out in Group 1's reading, so, like, I feel like some of y'all have some, energy of the past in Group 1. Group 2 could be your present, and Group 3 could be kind of future energy for some of you, for just the collective energy that's coming up. And I feel like if you guys are watching Group 2 first, and you kind of feel this sort of connection, maybe you watch this, then you watch 1, and then you watch 3. It doesn't really matter the order, just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Also, if maybe only one reading was fully resonating for you, then take that as you will. Alright, we got some extra cards coming out here. I feel like this is meant for you. Oh, we have a lot of extra cards. Okay, we'll take these. We'll take these. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, on the bottom of the deck, we have, let me slide these up a bit. We have the Death card here. This is a big symbolism to how you're rebirthing into this very mature, belly laughing nature here. You're very intuitive. You're very intuitive to what you desire, and I feel like it's been a long time coming on like releasing the regret of certain things in life. And it's really hard for some people to do. People are always going to say that they have regrets because it's just a common, easy thing to say. But it's a lot different to say that you have no regrets and genuinely feel that. Those are even two different things. And this is where it comes into this sort of energy of like right when you pour out and release this regret, you feel your cup instantly fill back up again. You find fulfillment in the fact that we get to just experience this life without regret. And I feel like that's the big thing here. So we have Princess of Cups, the Empress, and the Emperor. Let's talk about these two real quick, then we'll get into Queen of Swords, Ten of Pentacles reversed, the World reversed, Judgment, and the Moon. Interesting. Okay. So, the Death card is very much symbolic here with the Empress and the Emperor. And I was talking about this the other day of how the Empress embodies not just life, but life, death, and rebirth. In order to maintain this metaphorical garden that the Empress really shows and is depicted in, there's always nature surrounding the Empress here. And I see that as like her farm, her garden of opportunity, fulfillment, and manifestation. But in order to create a good garden that has fruitful soil, sometimes you need to create some compost or understand the importance of how ashes can really like provide a lot of nutrients for soil. Like the whole forest fire really lays the ground for a lot of healthy soil to rebuild things back on 10 times stronger. And the Empress really embodies that, but it's the rebirth of that energy. And I'm getting, I don't know if you guys have seen Fantasia 2000, that like Disney movie with all that animation. Watch the last one. I forget what it's called, but it is pretty much about it is an animation that is sort of describing life, death, and rebirth. And it's this character of Mother Nature, a character sort of depicting Mother Nature, going through these processes of life, death, and rebirth, and coming back 10 times stronger. And this is the rebirth that you're experiencing. You have rebirthed yourself here. This is why the Star card's in reverse. You're coming out of this sort of like healing metamorphosis of the Death card here. And really embodying all of the opportunity that lies ahead here, or even is right behind you, kind of looming over your shoulder in a very positive way. So the Emperor card here is like, how do we refine this for the long term? And when you do that, it's in this energy of like, you are helping and guiding other people to this practical yet spiritual life, you know? Heavy but yet heavenly energy, because life is heavy. Life takes a lot of work, but it's so fulfilling when we put in the work and we actually see the results to come out of it. When we see that plant that grew in the ashes of those soils grow back 10 times stronger, that's when we like fully realize, oh my God, this work was worth it. But to realize that before you have even planted the seed is the next level energy that we're getting into. And this is where the Queen of Swords kind of comes in, of like, you're directing your energy in a way that's very, very certain of the opportunity that lies ahead. All of these butterflies that are depicted in the Queen of Swords card and in any Queen of Swords card is an awareness and acknowledgement on not just the enlightened opportunities, but just the opportunities ahead when we move forward with a lot of maturity and compassion for life. And I feel like compassion is leading into a lot of things kind of flipping on their head. Like your idea of true stability is sort of like upside down right now. I feel like you had a decent idea of like just dealing with some things, but now you are not just dealing with them, you're processing them, you're acknowledging them, you're becoming aware, and you're healing them and rebirthing yourself over and over and over again. And this is now putting the whole world and your whole world perspective on its head. But for good reason, for valid reason. You needed to have this shakeup, and I feel like you're grateful for this sort of shaking up of your perspective, because this new perspective that you are gaining and almost releasing judgment on is allowing you to see in the dark here with this moon card. And I mean that in a very metaphorical way, because the seeing in the dark isn't just like about seeing right in front of you. It's about knowing internally the path ahead, the path that's meant for you, and you're able to see through illusions, distractions, deceit, or even just like fear and doubt and anxiety and all that stuff. You're able to see through that and see the true path that is meant for you here. And what I find very interesting is I believe there's a card that represents the buffalo. I think it's the wheel. The wheel shows like 4 different animals per se, or like 3 different animals per se, because it's 3 different animals, like an eagle, the buffalo, a lion, I think, and then it represents like humans. And this is where it becomes very interesting. And I'm looking at this owl up here in the moon card. I didn't even realize that there was like an owl at the top of that card there. That's really interesting. You are seeing life from that perspective. You're seeing that while the path still leads into darkness, the darkness is something we move through, not try to just deal with it. We understand it, we acknowledge it, we embody it to be able to see in the dark here. And that's the true gratitude of the universe here and of you. The true gratitude to be able to see in these dark times and also help others guide themselves through it. Because you're not just guiding them like in holding their hand, you're guiding them to a place so they can do it themselves. And I feel like if you've done this with your friends, family, or loved ones, you've seen them come back to you. And I feel like it's kind of common for them to come back to you, be like, hey, like I kind of followed your advice and this is what came up with it, or came from it, this is the result. And not only seeing that work out for other people in the long run, you're able to appreciate all of the work that you've been able to do in the long run and the stability that you've been able to make here. Because I feel like that's the thing that you've really forgotten about with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. You've created this stability for yourself. You've created a world of no regrets, a perspective of no regrets. And that's something to be truly grateful of. So be proud of yourself here. And never, never, ever, ever stop believing in yourself. Because the creations that you make are definitely going to leave behind a legacy. Leave behind stories of greatness. Even through all of the heaviness, you've been able to rebirth yourself time and time and time again. And that is truly inspiring. So let yourself keep not only inspiring others, but inspiring yourself. Keep motivating yourself, because it's been worth it. The work has truly been worth it. So I'm very grateful for you listening to this reading. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, that is all I have for you. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, group 3, you chose the owl and the firefly here. And we're going to read the book on these, because like I always say, the book is very poetic in its wording, and I just absolutely love it. And I feel like with these 2 energies, the firefly is like the light bulb for the owl's like eureka moments here. I feel like that's the big thing that's kind of happening. is a lot of this wisdom that you're gaining is almost like a huge light bulb in your head, but it's also kind of maybe something small that triggers a lot of wisdom and enlightenment and inner knowing here. So let's get to the owl card. Let's see what the owl has to say. Abundance, clairvoyant, treasures. The owl is a mysterious and otherworldly creature found in folklore from east to west. The white owl in this particular deck is the companion of the goddess Lakshmi and represents wealth, beauty, and good fortune. When the owl card appears, it's an omen that a boon or treasure is on the way, either in spiritual or material form. With the owl wisdom on your side, you'll see and know exactly what to do with this boon. How can it further serve your dharma and bring abundance into the world? Or bring abundance to the world? Trust that the wellspring of treasures is infinite. Okay. We'll move on to the firefly real quick, because I kind of just want to go from one right into the other. Alright, alright. The firefly, inspired and fantastic, yet fleeting. The firefly contains the light of 1,000 stars. It's pure, radiant, and illuminating. This high-frequency charge cannot be sustained for long. Therefore, the firefly card indicates a moment of inspiration or awakening that quickly fades if we do not catch it. There is firefly energy behind every poem, song, and invention. Our job is to be ready to harness this creative spirit when it graces our path. What can you do to support this precious and elusive light? I feel like you're feeling more of the elusiveness of the light rather than actually feeling what this light energy is really supposed to embody. And I really truly want to acknowledge how meaningful it is to just have those moments, you know? And I think that's the thing of like, oh, I have this very fleeting energy. Instead of worrying about it being so fleeting, enjoying that moment for what it is, enjoying that energy, I feel like is the best treasure of them all. And it feels a little odd sometimes when we feel something so fleeting. It's so good, so enlightening, but so fleeting. It illuminates your whole worldview, your whole perspective. But we just kind of want to pack it up in a jar and contain it, and that's usually not that possible all the time. And it feels kind of like, oh, damn, that sucks. But you still got to experience this fleeting energy here. And I think that's the big key to this, what this owl card is representing. I feel like the treasure that you are about to receive is, I feel like for some of you, you're about to receive like some gift out of nowhere. Like someone's like, oh, hey, I have this thing. Are you interested in it? And you've been like looking for something like that for like ages. And someone's finally like randomly just like, oh, I have this, you know, would you want it? And I feel like these gifts are also going to be very much gifts of knowledge here. Excuse me while I try to handle this incense. I'm gonna keep talking while I make sure that this is all a-okay. There's a big energy of the elusiveness of this is almost even a gift in itself. It's a reminder to kind of take hold of those moments that feel so fleeting and just embody the energy that you are receiving from them. There's a lot to discuss here with said energy, and I feel like there's so much to learn. And if this reading is connecting to any of the other readings before this group, then this is very much talking about the enjoyment of loving life itself, loving the fact that you're living life. And I feel like that's kind of hard for some people to do. So it's kind of why when we feel that fleetingness of loving life, we want to hold on to it. And you can. And it will, yes, be a memory at some point. But you can still hold on to this energy and feel every ounce of it, every little small drop of this good feeling in that moment. And I think that's also a big thing that we're going to get into here, but you're learning a lot of, I want to say, the treasures of your own nature, the treasures of your own internal world here, how you very much perceive things to be, and almost kind of being grateful that you have this sort of level of perception, and right when you have those moments of like, oh my god, I'm now like not just enjoying this feeling, but I have this idea, I have this enlightenment, embody that, write it down even. I feel like some of you really need to write it down, whatever it may be, like write it down. Put it into words in some fashion, or draw it. Draw what you're feeling, even if it just looks kind of like scribbles. Draw it out. There's an expressive nature here, and I really am curious about what we're going to get into here. So, let's get into your messages, group 3. Oh, hello. That was definitely my mistake. Because if it was meant to come out, it will come out again, and I wasn't looking, and the cards did their own thing. So, there we go. 6 of Swords laying out over here on the Owl card. Yeah, I feel like you have been actively leaving behind a lot of different mentalities here, but it's been hard to leave behind the mentality of like, I wish I could keep this feeling forever. I wish I could be in this moment forever. I wish I could feel this energy, the light and warmth of the sun forever, but at the end of every day, the sun does have to set. And we can still dance in the moonlight if we really want to. We can still enjoy parts of this world here. 6 of Swords reversed, the Sun, and 6 of Wands. Wow, okay. That's really interesting. We have 6, 19, and 6, which could be 6, 10, 6, technically. So, the other side to this is that sometimes when we're so wrapped up in like wanting to wish this moment was forever, we forget to fully enjoy it. And I think this is going into the sense of like the gift, the boon, the treasure is this feeling of enjoyment, is this feeling of like life is a gift, life is a treasure, even if you want to call it that. And this leaves a lot of open room to feel this level of expression, but when we're not recognizing kind of the crux that kind of cuts off our enjoyment and our fulfillment here, we kind of forget the real enlightenment that comes out of this. We forget that there's a lot more to enjoy in life and to really see, especially during just chaotic times. I'm filming this on March 10th, 2026, so lots of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. But that shouldn't stop you. It shouldn't make you realize, oh my god, I should be grateful for what I have, and put yourself down. It should get you to recognize, hey, like, you have a moment to really enjoy life. And it's kind of this energy of just enjoy it for that moment, because that moment will soon turn into a memory. And I feel like some of you, if this part isn't truly resonating, you're kind of already doing this subconsciously. I feel like you're one to dance in the rain, but you're not really aware of like how enlightening and how helpful this energy has been for you over the years. Like, this is something that has been a common thing for you to do all your life, but I don't think you're really seeing the true lesson to be learned in that. Here we have the Fool card, okay? The Fool card, Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, you're like subconsciously moving forward, creating something out of nothing all the time. And I think the big thing here is recognizing the work you really put into enjoying life, into putting every ounce of like faith into yourself and just being like, yeah, we're gonna do this. And it's so intuitive for this Queen of Pentacles that they're like, yeah, we're planting these seeds of love and joy, compassion even, but just enjoyment of life. And I think what's really nerve-wracking for you is that if you acknowledge this, if you acknowledge this sort of young at heart energy, this very abundant form of enjoyment, I think if you acknowledge it, you're worried that it's going to be taken away. So you have this very large energy of stoicism here. And I think that's what kind of makes you miss the fleeting moments. Hello. Someone's skirting. Sorry if you hear any outdoor noises. I have the balcony door open because it's really nice outside, so I wanted to enjoy all of the nature and whatnot. So if you hear anything in the background, we live right next to a highway, so just to kind of let y'all know. The Ace of Cups is like, you have all of this fulfillment waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be recognized. But I feel like if you acknowledge it in any form, even if it's just to yourself here, you're worried that the rug's gonna be pulled. You're worried that it's gonna be super fleeting. And I think that's the big thing, that it's like you have to move forward with feeling it because it's so fleeting. You're allowed to enjoy it, and even if it's just to yourself here. Knight of Cups, the Chariot. Yeah, you gotta move forward with this cup of fulfillment and raise it up on high and say, this is what I am fulfilled by. This is what fulfills me. This is what I love about life. This is why I love living my life, is because of what is in this cup, this energy of fulfillment here. And when you really get the ball rolling, when you really move forward, I feel like you're going to feel so much more powerful than you will even realize. We have Knight of Cups, Chariot, Knight of Wands, King of Cups. Oh, hold on. That was a big mess of cards. What's the last card to come out here? Five of Wands reversed with the Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck. You want to move forward and you want to push forward, but also it's like you want to still make sure you're not tripping over your own shoelaces. But at the same time, when you acknowledge this power, when you acknowledge this fulfillment, you hit the ground running. Like, this energy is so potent and powerful that it almost can't be ignored. And I feel like you're truly coming into being a very big master of your own emotions here. You're really understanding how the King of Cups is a master of their own inner world, their feelings, their emotions, the inner wisdom and inner knowledge, all of that internal energy. They move through every ebb and flow, every wave that sort of, what's it called when the water's being pulled in, and like every wave that's conjured, every wave that crashes, they move through it gracefully, because you know that there's gonna be chaos. But the way you direct your energy is super, super important here. And that's where the Queen of Swords really wants to show face here, is the directing of the energy. You direct it in ways and in paths that actually fully embody this greatness of your own work, this greatness of your own efforts here. But it takes a level of true acknowledgement, because I feel like you've had people acknowledge you in the past, being like, yeah, I know I'm good at that. Like, I don't want to brag too much. And it's like, it's not bragging if you want to just enjoy your fulfillment in life. And while I think this is just a very short and sweet message, I don't want to leave you off with just that. I really want to tell you that through the chaos, you're able to create fluidity. You're able to create a sense of where to go. And just like that revving of that engine, you are powering through. And it's not like you're about to lose control of the wheel. You have the most control and the most sort of defined way of driving this passion. And not even driving it into the ground or into the earth. You're grounding it into the earth of your own soul, the earth of your own self. And I think that's the key, very key difference here with how you pursue this in your energy. And it doesn't need to be something that you need to constantly run on empty here. Like, you're very aware of, like, you can't run on empty, so you're being very smart about the gas that is on that pedal back there. I feel like the revving in on the highway is very, very resonating here. And this is where it becomes very, very intriguing here of, like, your energy. You have embodied this for so long and subconsciously, like, directed your energy in the way it was meant to go and where you intuitively were following, that it is no longer subconscious for you. You're no longer doing this unconsciously. This is now becoming an energy that you can't ignore. So don't ignore it. And don't ignore it like it's some small little thing. It is the light of 1,000 suns. It is the strong, compassionate love for life itself, even, that you're able to even recognize this. And I feel like that's the big key here. Recognizing the work that you've been really putting in here and letting yourself feel every ounce of it. Because all of this acknowledgement, this maturity, this awareness, emotional intelligence even, is the gift that not only keeps on giving, but it keeps on giving because it will help you through any sort of chaotic time ever. And I think that you are more prepared and more aware than you give yourself credit for. You've put in a lot of work, and don't let yourself cut yourself short here. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy the energy that you've created and conjured for yourself. And when the waves crash, you know that you'll damn well be ready to handle it. Because waves are gonna crash. The energy is going to ebb and flow. And you understand the concept of how kind of chaos is not something that's ever going to leave our reality. There's cosmic chaos in the universe all the time. And I'm more or less of the belief that good and evil cannot survive without each other. It's like how life and death can't survive without each other. An act of creation is first an act of destruction, but you're very much willing to accept that destruction. But you accept it with an open heart, knowing that creation is right on the other side. And when you feel this moment of, like, I'm so grateful that I have this mentality, I'm so grateful that I have this perspective, let yourself feel it. Even if it's for just a moment. Let yourself feel it, and then direct your energy accordingly. Thank you for letting me read your cards. That is all I have for you. And I think that was a pretty short and sweet reading for you guys, but I think that's all that you needed to hear and needed to get out of it. So thank you, and let me know if that resonated. And as always, I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!